So, by virtue and power invested upon the outgoing civil society organization chairperson, Mrs. Momo, who's now turning over to the newly elected civil society organization chairman. He is Mr. Mawolo.
I hereby turn over this key that symbolize your responsibility to the new breed of officer. You will be the key to the future of Maryland CSO. Now that the responsibility has been passed to a new breed of leadership, let us pray that God has a bright plan for Maryland CSO. Carry on the work and thank you all. Thank you very much.
Society organizations in advocating for human rights, full participation, share of national development interest, and the rise of other human interest story you have outlined in your achievement. I appreciate you and thank you for serving our county, our country, and for establishing a partner. We move to a certificating of our newly elected officers. And that will be done different ways.
That is National Civil Society Council, Harper City, Maryland County, Republic of Liberia, Leadership Mystery Award, awarded to Mr. Lucy J. Mums for demonstrating exemplary and confidence throughout your tenure as County Coordinator of Civil Society Organization, CSO, Maryland County. I'm happy indeed to present this particular certificate to you. It's an award, it's a respect, it's something that people have experienced, the good work that you have done, that impacted the life of the Marylanders, especially of civil society organizations in Maryland County. I'm happy to present this certificate of award to you. May God richly bless you. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the blessed Holy Spirit. Thank you. Act of Election Commission of the Civil Society Organization, the election that was conducted a few months ago in Maryland County. The results are surfaced new code of officers. But first of all, we want to, at this time as election commissioner, standing in place of the election commissioner as a commissioner, I want to say thanks and appreciation to the civil society organizations that have cooperated with the election commission to carry out that work that was so critical. You have cooperated with us in that particular election view this group today that everyone is experiencing. With this, I am happy to call upon Mr. Rachel Monu. Mr. Rachel Monu was elected by the civil society organization as Secretary General for the civil society organization in Maryland County. A certificate that is given to him that reads National Civil Society Council, Apostolic Maryland County, Republic of Liberia, Certificate of Election awarded to Mr. Rachel Monu. The Electoral Committee of the Civil Society Organization, CSO, certify you as the winner of the position of Secretary, given this first day of April AD 2022. Signed, David H. Erskine, Induction Committee Chairperson. Signed, Reverend Ephraim Wilson, Electoral Committee Chairperson. It is an honor to give this to you. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, I will not show again now. Okay, in the same vein, so the help people will say in the same vein. Oh,
So she was the one to receive the certificate, but she wasn't on ground, so another person had to proxy for her. And immediately, while the certificate was about to be awarded, she marched in.
this certificate after our election, I'm pleased indeed reading the words of the National Civil Society Council, Harper, Maryland County, Republic of Liberia, certificate of election awarded to Mr. Felicia Twali. The election committee of the Civil Society Organization, CSO, certify you as the winner for the position of co-coordinator, given this first day of April 2022. Signed, David Esme, as committee chair. Signed, Reverend Ephraim Wilson, electoral committee chair. I'm happy that this certificate is awarded to you because you are the co-chairperson of the Civil Society. God bless you. Thank you. Right here. The respect for the coordinator elect that is to be inducted into office, the respect starts now. By the directive of the Election Commission, the respect for the Maryland County Civil Society Organization starts now. Having conducted the election free and fair, this is a certificate that is being brought forward to you. Read National Civil Society Organization, Society, Harper, Maryland County, Republic of Liberia, certificate of election awarded to Mr. Thomas B. Manglo. The committee of the Civil Society Organization, CSO, certify you as the winner for the position of coordinator, Civil Society Organization, Maryland County. Given this first date of April 2022, under the hands of David Erskine, Induction Committee Chair, and Reverend Ephraim Wilson, Electoral Commission chairperson, you are being awarded this certificate with wholeheartedly, giving you the freedom to lead your people in Maryland County. God bless you. So please be seated. Thank you.
And come to the front. You are sorry in the army. Anytime you call you to go from them. So I will give God the glory for this.
Yeah.
And I will bless him that the one year, gather here today for this wonderful occasion. So our elected officers, this is the tradition of inducting people into office. The old office is to hold you accountable for the position in which you go to be. Those things that we see in you and we saw in you that we think it is true. To hold you for it, that is why our time comes to hold you again. So please, also much talking, put up your right hand as we go through the process. When I say I, you call your name. I do solemnly swear to faithfully, honestly, and impartially perform my duties of the organization. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will never betray my integrity, my character, or the public trust, and will be the best of my ability to protect and defend the Constitution and laws of the civil society organization. So help me God. Congratulations and all this on you.
So that's it. They have now been inducted into office by the mayor, that's Madam Ellen Blessing Hall. So Mr. Maulo, the newly elected civil society organization coordinator, has been called upon for a speech.
Mr. Maro, your first word that you bring your going so get prepared.
Um, Let me address the platform or not mayor on the blessing tool that we have. Our clergy, all goals on former CSO cabinet coordinator, and Mr. Mulu speak to the mic. Share speak. It's on. Yeah, it's on. Okay. It's live on. Okay. So, platform guests, good afternoon. And I want to recognize good people here. Reverend Dr. Cole. And I also want to recognize cross-border women president, Madam Musu Johnson, the Carter Center, the media. I will not forget about them. Hope Estate. Well, good afternoon to all. I have a well prepared speech here. Today is one of the excited moments in my life. And I must be grateful to the Almighty God for this day. From every corner of Maryland County, the civil society organization has spoken through the ballot box. It was a long journey, a journey with sacrifices and challenges, but we have succeeded.
We still have a long way to go, and we are all in this boat together. And with your support, we can do better. I thank you for electing me and my team to these positions of trust. We will remain committed to working with all members of the CSO, CBOs, and NGOs, including stakeholders and local government officials, to push our agenda. We will always pursue the policy of constructive engagement with local government and stakeholders on issues affecting us as a people. This idea is an alternative measure to solve problems. I want to recognize Mrs. Jabelusi Momo, her sister, and my predecessor. I extend my hands of thanks, or thank you for the generosity and cooperation throughout the transition. She is the first female head of civil society organization, county coordinator, and I will call her emeritus of Maryland County. And she has served the leadership roles for 10 years. It's over a decade. She has made some achievements during her leadership, which I want to recognize. Through her efforts, as she mentioned in her speech, a building was erected by the Unmilk Impact Project, now called CSO building, located upkeep, which should be used under our administration. I stand to be corrected. This is the first transition of power ever to happen in the history of CSO in this county. There has been no induction program organized like this one where members of CSOs, CBOs, and NGOs, including stakeholders, are invited to witness. I want to say thank you to our guests for honoring our invitations. Your presence here is well deserved. Everyone loves to feel appreciated. In this public manner, I want to express my gratitude to Mr. David Eskin, Program Chairman for the Induction Committee, for his skills and experience in handling his tasks. My appreciation and thanks to your team for the work well done, Mr. Eskin. In every competition, there is a winner and a loser. I salute you, Ms. Sisi Nimle, and your team for your courage, fortitude, in ongoing brutal experience of the campaign. Regardless of the margin lost, a blowout or a razor team, you did what nearly no one else is willing to do. You stood up and fought for what you believe is right, and were willing to be rejected by your fellow colleagues. I extend my hands of peace and openness to you. Join me and let us work hard together to make this year so greater than ever before. Evidence-based civil society organization. Any civil society organization, community-based organization, NGO that ascribe to hearsay, lies, then your leadership lack maturity and will be questioned. Going forward, we will build a solid civil society organization, evidence-based. Evidence-based means we will strategically verify all information, counter-check information sources before taking decision. Let it be noted here that we will release press statements when the need arises or when the situation dictates. We will not be moved by sentiments or speculations because any arbitrary statement utters will be used against our leadership. We will not be quick to go on air to speak and condemn issues, but take our time to probe the matter with maturity and then take reasonable decisions where necessary. We will continue to pursue the policy of constructive engagement with our local authorities and stakeholders. Leadership capacity building training and retreat. There are no civil society organizations that will grow and flourish without undertaking capacity building training and retreats. For nearly a decade, the past leadership has never looked into such direction. Our leadership observed the gaps and will do something to reduce the gaps. We must develop a bridge to cross it, and we will generate financial support by preparing to fill the gap. In support of our drive, we will request for funding sources to facilitate the retreat and capacity building training for all members of CSOs, CBOs, NGOs, including our leadership. This is a process by which members from each organization will acquire skills, knowledge, tools, and other resources needed to implement the job competently or to a greater capacity to obtain better results. For the next 3 years, our leadership will have a Herculean task to perform, owing to the fact that there was so much to do and little has been done. The onus is before this leadership to lead and lead with vision. In order to move forward, there must be a clear plan, a goal and objective to achieve it. To build or improve the plan, a builder must ready and be prepared. A builder must be constructed, or a building must be constructed to have a solid foundation. This leadership is prepared to build a solid foundation in which, when we shall leave power, others will follow suit. Leadership 3 years plan, a medium plan. Our leadership will focus on a 3-year plan, and the primary purpose is to provide a development plan for the CSOs and to prepare us for operations to implement those plans. The 3-year pillar plans will have a key focus on administration, peace building and reconciliation, advocacy, rule of law, access to justice, transparency, accountability, good governance, etc. The details of this plan will be further discussed in the retreat capacity building training. Some of what we intend to do in 100 days are as follows. We will develop a database system for all civil society organizations, CBOs, and NGOs, and we'll place them in sectors and thematic areas. We will support from the partners and stakeholders. We will conduct a capacity building training for all CBOs, establish rebranding platform, and create samples, establish media page. We set up communication channel like emails, you name the rest. We carry on decentralization plan to appoint district CSO coordinators, appoint other officials like the financial secretary, chaplain, etc. My dear friends and colleagues, it is well understood that we are in the midst of so many crises with enormous challenges ahead. We need to work together to probe and solve some of these problems of economic, social, political, and gender-based violence, rule of law, access to justice, human rights violation, and abuse. When such a situation appears before us as a society, we need to have a sober reflection and search for other new ways in solving the problem. There is no big problem that cannot be solved if we are prepared and put ideas together to solve those problems. One of the problems before us is the Tubman University faculty and student sentiments. With the understanding of the situation at TU, which is being described as a cowcuckoo, is worth intervening. It means under it is wet, while on top is dry. There is a temporary count now, but the issue are still there, and it should not be overlooked. Though the civil society as a body did not issue any press statement to intervene, but individually, some CSO groups took some negotiation steps behind the scene that needed to be applauded. The civil society organizations can play an important role in mediating and helping to resolve conflict. But under our leadership, we will have to push for more negotiations, mediations, and networking with other institutions to gradually address the situation. Murder of Sashi Yao, Bill Myers, and Motisha Lima. The crisis of cold cases considered as unresolved issue, like the murders of John Yao Shashi, Bill Myers, and Motisha Lima in Maryland County. Our leadership will continue to push for justice, engage relevant justice actors, networking with other stakeholders, and local authority to resolve these matters. As you know, homicide cases can generate a sense of insecurity in society. And when high rates occur in the country with weak, inefficient, and corrupt criminal justice system and contribute to the undermining social and economic development. Civil society has a key role to play now. During the peace in Maryland County, Yale, Liberia, there are roles to be filled and monitored in areas such as government accountability and policy development, as well as in advocacy and service delivery. The Maryland civil society leadership will have a key role in the proper agenda process, both in its development and in monitoring its implementation, and needs to equip itself with the skills to carry out these roles in a meaningful manner. Our leadership will engage other partners to support our effective monitoring plan to capture deliverables. To be part of civil society, we must meet some other conditions as well. In a democracy, our leadership will have respect for the rule of law, for human rights of individuals, and for the rights of other groups to express their interests and opinions. Part of what the word civil implies is tolerance and the accommodation of pluralism and diversity. We respect these principles. Land boundary disputes. The land and boundary disputes are a national issues and they cut across in every county. In partnership with the local authority and stakeholders in the county, our leadership can play an important role in mediating and helping to resolve land boundary conflicts. CSO and NGOs can develop formal programs and training of trainers to relieve political and land conflict and teach affected community members to solve their dispute through bargaining and accommodation. Corruption of public officials. One of the roles and functions of civil society are to expose the corrupt conduct of public officials and lobby for good governance reform. Even where anti-corruption laws and bodies exist, they cannot function effectively without the active support and participation of civil society organizations. Our leadership, along with CSO actors, will watch how state officials use their power. CSO will raise public concern about any abuse of power. We should lobby for access to information, including Information Acts. Election 2023. As a civil society organization, we have a vital role to play in monitoring the conduct of elections in 2023. This required a broad coalition of organizations unconnected to political parties or candidates that deploy neutral monitors at all the different polling stations to ensure the voting and voting counting is entirely free, fair, peaceful, and transparent. It is very hard to have credible and fair elections in a new democracy unless civil society groups play this role. Security, rule of law, access to justice. The CSO leadership will work very closely with the justice actors operating in the criminal justice system. We believe in the value of freedom, fairness, personal safety, Due process and respecting the fundamental rights of all citizens within the land and breadth of this Maryland County. We will monitor and ensure justice actors are in compliance with the law, with emphasis on lasting peace. And good people, the audience, finally, I want to stress that our leadership can never achieve these plans without the support of members of the civil society organizations and stakeholders. We are requesting your support to make these plans workable. Equally important, CSO will not be in tension with the states, county officials, because we are partners in progress and we engage them constructively when there are issues. Because civil society is independent of the state does not mean that it must always criticize and oppose the state or county leadership. In fact, by making the state at all levels more accountable, responsive, inclusive, effective, and hence more legitimate, a vigorous civil society strengthens citizen respect for the state and promote their positive engagement with it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you very much.
So just listen to the newly inducted coordinator of the
Thank you
CSO Civil
for
Society Organization, Maryland chapter.
Maryland Civil Society Organization. Coming, let us work together